This is London, largest city on earth, where Big Ben, the world's most celebrated timepiece, keeps its constant vigil over a mighty metropolitan parade. London, great city of empire, where destiny and history have set the passing scene, where today busy, bustling Piccadilly Circus sets the modern pace and tempo. The ebb and flow of tireless traffic make it the counterpart of New York's Times Square. But there is no counterpart of London's bobbies, who, though unarmed, keep it the most law-abiding of large cities. London mailboxes are known as pillar boxes, the predecessors of the Americanized version. But there's little different about a London phone booth, except perhaps its color. These artistic creations are scattered throughout the city and provide the usual familiar incidents. You move on to Trafalgar Square, where Nelson's column rises in soaring majesty. This is the physical heart of London, nobly dominated by the statue of the heroic admiral whose fame it commemorates. Paradoxically, around the martial base cluster doves of peace, the famed pigeons of Trafalgar Square, fed by passing Londoners in scenes such as this, reminiscent of New York's Central Park or St. Mark's in Venice. London's spiritual heart lies beneath the sacred spires of Westminster Abbey. Within its Gothic halls have been crowned all the English kings for nearly 1,000 years. Number 10 Downing Street, residence of the Prime Minister and one of the world's most famous addresses. Again in Whitehall, you see this inspiring cenotaph dedicated to the dead of 2 world wars. Here along the Whitehall Street, which is the administrative and political core of the British Empire, are the imposing Treasury and the War Office, where are made decisions governing the lives of millions of the world's people. Next, you are intrigued and fascinated by one of Whitehall's most colorful traditions, the changing of the horse guards. You stand enthralled as the pavement echoes to the ringing clatter of hoofs, as the splendid squadrons of celebrated cavalry, the proud descendants of warriors of other days, go through their high prancing performance, helmets glittering and swords flashing in this shining array of sabers and sunlight. It is a picture you never forget, as the resplendent horse guards perform their significant ceremony in a display of imperial pomp and show that stirs the heartbeat of Londoner and visitor alike. Rubble and ruin are all that remain of thousands of homes and buildings that formerly surrounded magnificent St. Paul's Cathedral. During the fearful bombing of the last war, the stately church was miraculously spared, and never did it seem more the soul of London than when seen through swirling smoke and flame. The superb classical masterpiece of the great Sir Christopher Wren, St. Paul's is the world's largest and most inspiring cathedral built for Protestant worship. Looking up the mighty River Thames, you picture all the ships that have known its waters. Bestriding the river like a colossus is Tower Bridge, one of the successors to the legendary London Bridge of the Romans, which stood alone for 1,500 years and was immortalized in the song chanted by countless generations of children of the English-speaking world. Now you're in famous Fleet Street, this tremendous town's newspaper row. The Daily Express alone has a circulation of almost 4 million, by far the world's largest. Although Fleet Street remains conservatively British, the metropolitan press is forthright and free. Freedom of speech as well is the Londoner's cherished privilege, and in Hyde Park it is exercised at its loudest. Here, orators may burst forth on the merits of Aristotle, bird cages, politics, or Zulus, if their audience permits. But as often as not, the listeners will exercise that inalienable right of protest and vociferously heckle the speaker. You marvel at the vast port of London, 45 solid miles of piers and wharves, from which sail the seafaring descendants of such adventurers as Raleigh and Drake to the far-flung shores of the empire, their ships laden with the products of industry. month later, they return from the ends of the seven seas, steaming up the Thames to their home berths, with cargoes of silk, spices, ivory, furs, with meat and grain to feed their own English islands. Another London landmark of time and tradition is the Bank of England, the formidable old lady of Threadneedle Street, whose banknotes coined the phrase, "as good as gold." The financial district occupies a section called the City, which was the ancient London of Julius Caesar's time. High hats are still the time-used rule of the stock exchange, through which was channeled the capital that combined with a venturesome spirit to make Britain great. Buckingham Palace, built originally by the fabulous Duke of Buckingham, is now the London home of the royal family. The royal standard is flown to denote their majesties are actually in residence at the palace. On these occasions, Londoners and visitors alike converge for an opportunity to view at first hand the pomp and pageantry of empire, here revealed in the imposing display known far and wide as the changing of the Palace Guard. The guardsmen themselves are picked for their stature and soldierly bearing. An appointment to the palace is a signal honor, aspired to by many, yet achieved by few in His Majesty's military services. As you watch this ceremonial parade with its martial music and well-disciplined precision, your thoughts turn back to other centuries, to the pride and glory that has always been Britain's. And you know that these things will never die so long as there are Englishmen to carry on. This is more than a mere display of rigid discipline and colorful uniforms. Like the monarchy itself, it is symbolic of the nation and the Commonwealth. The music slows, the marching tempo changes, and you feel the singing thrill of it surging through you. You're not alone in your unashamed emotion, for no matter how cosmopolitan today's Londoner may be, no matter how modest and unpretentious in his personal way of life, he still treasures this eye-stirring, heart-stirring spectacle, this impressive and inspiring display of military brilliance and imperial glory. Such is London, with her ancient monuments and modern masses, fascinating city of deeds and dreams, city of high tradition and noble heritage, respected and loved in this world of ours.